You know what it is. It's another Monday. You don't have to be perfect. I told you I would have someone special.
You don't gotta be perfect, you just gotta get started. Don't overthink it. Just go where your heart is, turn your dreams and your goals. Let your goals shape how you live. Success is inevitable if you're willing to give up your old self to become someone new, to be the true you. Never be afraid to do you in front of the critics, sideline judges, non-believers, people holding their grudges. Appreciate the hate. It comes with the winning. When your wife's making the money, you're unstoppable from the beginning. Your excuses are useless. Let your actions be part of the solution and watch the income it produces. Recognize greatness, a supreme revelation. Years of blood,
You see who that is? Probably the only person in the valley I'll say knows more about AI than I do.
Always makes the dream work. Teamwork always makes the dream work.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have in the house today someone special, someone who's on the cutting edge of truly bringing people not only together with today's technology, but understanding what results look like. We have Dr. Jeff Bullock in the building.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate the invite to come out here to speak to you and whoever else is out here about AI and whatever else topics come up. Sky's the limit.
Well, Dr. Jeff, I want to know, how did you get into AI and get into consulting? You know, it seems like people of our complexion seem to always be behind the technological curve.
Yeah. So my origins, the doctor part in Dr. Jeff comes in. I'm actually a pharmacist, right?
Okay.
So it's quite a journey to the AI realm. I worked for CVS for 18 years. So I started as a clerk. Um, this is back in the day when the pharmacists used to kind of sit high up on the things. They had to look up to them. Like, man, one day I'm gonna be a pharmacist one day. And then then I was an intern, and then tech, then an intern, then a pharmacy manager, and pharmacy supervisor, district manager. So I rose the ranks, did a lot of different positions for CVS. And then in 2020, that's when I moved to the Lehigh Valley. I was in Texas for 13 years, and I left after COVID. COVID was pretty tough, so I exited from healthcare and became a full-time entrepreneur. So started with trucks. I had gotten to real estate while I was still at CVS, but then in 2022, ChatGPT came out, and it was helpful. But I tell people March 23 is when aliens landed, because that's when GPT-4 came out, and the things that it would take me weeks to do at CVS, it was able to do in like minutes. So I said, "This is the world is different now. Let me learn about this stuff." And I just dived in and started taking courses and watching videos and reading books. And the book was kind of putting me to sleep, so then I wrote one on how to use it. And then in June of 23, I started Prism. I started helping people bridge the gap between these tools and existing in practical use case.
So, what is PRISM for those who don't know?
Yeah, so Prism it stands for positivity, resilience, innovation, service, and mastery. And those are the values in which we approach this this technology. Um, Prism AI consultants, we help uh, uh, we help businesses, professionals, executives use AI tools for practical use case. So most people just don't know how to use these tools. They use ChatGPT very basically, and ChatGPT is just one of many AI tools. So clients, they get my services for three reasons. The first one is how am I going to get revenue? How do I generate revenue with AI? The second one is, how do I save time? So, yeah, I'm fine with money, Jeff, but how do I save time? And on average, clients save 50 hours per month. That's a big number, but it's lots of data to back it up because it really is transformational things that you can do. You can 10x your productivity when you know how to use these tools in the right way with the right workflow. And then the third reason is they say, Dr. Jeff, my life is complicated. It's this stuff is just it's very overwhelming. Can AI make my life more simple, more efficient? And yeah, it can, absolutely. But you got to know how to use it. So that's what we do. That's what we come in. We coach, and not only do we coach you how to use it, but you get assets because this stuff is transformational. So you don't only get the teachings, but you actually produce results in that time. So that's what we do. That's what we've been doing for the past couple of years.
And I love that you talked about not just utilizing AI, but utilizing AI to produce results.
Yes, it's all about the results. It's practical use case, right? It's the stuff that it can do from, like I said, the time savings, the generated revenue, sales. The first thing is, how to get more sales, how to get more clients, from a sales standpoint. But I would actually tell people to kind of like take a step back a little bit. And when you're using ChatGPT, like I said, most people don't know they don't know how to use it, so they use it like Google, because Google over the past 20 years have trained us on when they see like that little prompting bar, which is a prompting bar, not a search engine, but they treat it like a search engine. So I coach, if you treat it more like a team of experts, and every one of the experts graduated from college in every subject, you would ask way different questions and you will be able to get way different results. So it's all about how you prompt it. And it's not hard, it's just foreign. It's just something that you hadn't thought of before. But once you get it, then you're like, oh, okay. And then, you build on those lessons. And before you know it, like I said, 10xing your productivity and really making some things happen. And no longer in the past times, we're in the present times now. Because there's no more future times, we're in the present times now.
And I love that you're saying that, right? Because if you're over 40, most of this stuff are what we watched on cartoons, right? And seen in movies, right?
Jarvis.
We are now in the time of, right, the Jetsons, right? Because
cars is driving around, cars driving you around.
There's cars that fly, right? It may not be as popular, but they are, right? There are. We're on video screens. Somebody's watching us right now, live, right? Like George would have been talking to Mr. Spacely, right? And then we're also closer to the Terminator time.
Oh yes.
Right?
Oh yeah.
With real robots and real artificial intelligence, it's very important that we are in tune.
Yes.
It's unfortunate that many people that look like us miss the digital coin revolution, right? Because we didn't understand. We cannot miss this informational time because it could put us decades behind within months.
Yeah. So in my opinion is this is it. Like for people who look like us, for our people, the wealth divide is because of AI. The trillions, the billions have already been invested in AI, and the trillions that it will be able to create from an economy standpoint. If you look at the big players, there's Mark Zuckerberg giving out $100 million contracts to AI researchers, multiple AI researchers. You talk about NVIDIA, which is now the top company in the world with their trillion dollar evaluation. AI is where we're at, but the group who under indexes with learning this technology, unfortunately, is black and brown, right? And to your point, we just can't have it this time, and that's one of the reasons I feel very passionate. It's like not on my watch, this doesn't have to be this way, and I will say at this current time, everyone's still equally ignorant to where we are. Where everybody's behind, like everybody equally ignorant to it, but it won't be like that for long. So it's a choice, and I understand the apprehension. There is real reason to be fearful in some regards with this technology, from a regulation standpoint, cybersecurity standpoint, disinformation standpoint. Uh, there's a lot of things that can go wrong still. However, with that being said, there's a lot of things that can go right too.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, whichever way the coin flips, you want to have some agency to be a part of that. And if you do not have the education and know what's going on, you can't control it. You can't do anything about it. You're just a bystander. And why be a bystander when you don't have to be, especially when so much wealth will be created by this technology, by so much efficiency will be created with this technology. So uh, it's all about the user and how you use it. But if we're not in the equation, if we're not in the conversation, then it's just going to be another footnote of something that happened to our culture, as opposed to us being, the forefront and taking it by the hand. So, yeah, that's what I feel about it.
So Dr. George Fraser, the founder of the Power Networking Conference, once said to me, he said, his generation is the first generation since slavery not to leave their kids in a better position when they die. But our generation will be the first generation since slavery to leave our kids in the worst position when we die. One of the things I said to them at that moment was not on my watch. Right? Not on my watch. Right? And one of the reasons I dove into AI so early and was so glad to see someone else really take it on is that being their mastery. Because I won't say I'm master, right? I'm a brown belt, right?
It's a journey. So that's what mastery is. Mastery is a journey, right? Like it's
like you're a black belt in AI.
I don't know what
I'm a brown belt. Like I can kick marks, but yours, yours, I have to make sure that my moves are correct. It's so important, right? That we are not left behind in conversation right now, because in a year from now, 2 years from now, right, not going to be able to make up the gap.
Yeah, very true. Very, 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 very true. And what I would say is like understanding the concepts, right? So, for example, with ChatGPT, agents just hit mainstream ChatGPT. So, for people who have the Plus account, even if you even know what I'm talking about right now, this tool, this mode in ChatGPT will allow the AI to carry out tasks on your behalf. And the level in which you can do it now absolutely will have significant economic impacts because people will, like, it can click on your computer. So, there's whole jobs and industries where people click on the computers and whatnot. So being able to use that for your advantage is extremely vital. Like, you absolutely have to know how to do it, because if you're not, then you're definitely going to be left behind. Like we talk about that gap. If this is where we are now, we're going to be just even 3 now, and then 6 months from now, so on and so forth. So there are people who still haven't even used ChatGPT. There are people who haven't used lots of tools. Once again, it's not just ChatGPT and large language models. There's image generation, there's video generation, there's music generation, there's voice, there's avatars. You cannot trust anything you see on the internet anymore. Those days are gone. You may think that, I can tell if it's AI or not. No, that person just didn't know how to use AI that way. The technology exists for cheap now. The fingers, they're no more like, it's got 7 fingers. Those days is gone. So being educated on where we are, and then, like I said, figuring out how do I use this to better my goals and initiatives. It's not all money. That's why sometimes it's just time efficiency, but sometimes you have people who are homemakers and they have multiple initiatives to keep the house together. Well, now you have a tool that will help you in these times, these times where it might be stressful and you don't. What do I do with this or what do I do with that? You have a team of experts at your disposal at all times to help you navigate these situations, and having that is a game changer a lot of times. Sometimes life changing.
I love that you are talking about it in not just business terms, but for people who are using it at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are so many ways to leverage artificial intelligence, but there is no time not to.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that we used to, I deal a lot with people coming home from prison,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there used to be a time where they would say that if every 5 years the technology gap would be so different that you would have to relearn life. You know, with the speed of AI, it's almost like every 6 months.
Yeah, I think it's definitely compressed time with that. I couldn't imagine somebody would go in and like the next 5 years is going to look more different than the last 100. Say it again. Next 5 years will look vastly different than the last 100 because it's not just the AI. It's multiple industries that are changing in this time. And in addition to that, the AI is just like it's like the catalyst making it go even faster. So biomedical industry, the robotic industry, right? I don't know if you saw now, but robots now there's one that's $6,000, humanoid robot that can move and putting in laundry and whatnot. Now I will say for the robots because they're here, but the mass production of them will take some more time. So before they're going to just be walking around to where it's like one robot to a person, we have some more time for that. I would say the bigger shift to shock to the economy will be the cognitive, the fact that AI can do, the soft skills, or and white collar jobs will be kind of taken out. And I don't know if you've seen the article on in the news on that though. It's called the white collar bloodbath by Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei, and you know I do believe that's coming. Mo Gadak, author of Scary Smart and ex CEO for Google, says the same thing. This is not far on the horizon. This is next couple years. Um, where millions of people will be out of work that are not used to not working. Like this is people who are CEOs and bankers, like people who have been, 6-figure jobs. They won't have those anymore. So it's a different world that we live in.
And I love that you're pointing out it's not just going to be,
Nah,
because that's who everyone thinks is going to disappear only,
Yep.
right? Like the fry cook, right? The store clerk,
Mm-hmm.
right? There are going to be so many jobs that we thought were necessary that are going to be automated.
Yep.
That are going to be AI worked or
Mm-hmm.
robotic, because robots not going to give you attitude, at the cashier
Nope.
line. It's going to take your money
Yep.
and it's going to keep it going.
Yep.
So,
Yep. And now with AI, because if you think about like what did the humans bring to labor force, and it was, in the Industrial Revolution, it was the strength, right? But then machines took that over. So there was a cognitive ability, the empathy. But now, if you talk to these chatbots, really good at being empathetic. They start to get better and better and better. You talk to some of them, like actually talk. They have the voice cues, and another danger kind of need to look out for is people will start having relationships with the AI as opposed to human relationships because it will be easier in some aspects, and they will understand the person, the user, a lot more because it's designed to. So in our government is not really talking about it from a huge societal shift standpoint that needs to be talked about. So once again, that's why the AI education is so important, because these things are happening. You know, it's not a maybe thing; it is a absolute thing. So going back, the people who invest in that, you know, we can have a huge shift to where, you know, our people can jump up like significantly if we all collectively say, okay, we're going to pay attention to this and we're going to use this for our benefit, and look at what the risks are, and be on the lookout for those. Know what those risks are, then we can navigate the world where we don't fall into these pitfalls, because it's not inevitable. Some things probably are, but not everything. Not all things are inevitable from a negative standpoint to where the AI can go, in my opinion.
And I agree with you. It's definitely not all negative. There's definitely some many positives, you know, but it's so important, like you say, to stay ahead of the curve, because it won't be the AI's fault when that job doesn't exist anymore. It will be maybe the education system. It may be the parent, the policy for not preparing the student for what's to come. You know, I say a lot of times that our education system is antiquated. You know, kids no longer need to know um, George Washington sailed, you know, or Columbus sailed the ocean blue. They can Google that. You know, they need to know how to code, create, and do so much more in order to survive in today's world. They do need to know how to read, write, and do arithmetic. But every other subject is a choice.
I think that how we'll go with education, because if we think about what the data says about education, out of all the different I guess revolutions to education and like to how to make it better, the one thing that's been clear is one-on-one tutoring always rises to the top, like that shows the best outcome. Well, now we have it. Now you have a tutor in your pocket as an expert in everything 24/7. Now that doesn't mean that educators are going to go away. No. It just means that the job shifts. It changes, right? Because if you look at a lot of times in the education system now, they're educators. They're disciplinarians in there, so they're not really even educated in that regard. Depending on where you are, imagine if every single child has the tool that they need. They're dyslexic or they're whatever their learning ability is. Now this tool will be directly able to give them a lesson plan that fits their ability. Or let's say that the child is super only interested in basketball. Well, you could teach anything through basketball, but you can't do that like a teacher who has 30 kids can't do that. But AI can, and that teacher can now oversee those 30 kids, and then now like have them help them with the crafting of the thoughts. And that's now what
That's awesome.
that experience can look like. If you look at like from education, now that child is running with the education. People love to learn. Kids love to learn when it's interesting. Now it could be interesting 24/7, right? So in the problems and the issues that a kid might have, now you got an expert in problems and issues. So I think that once it gets adopted, because they're already doing it in Nigeria. I just saw a report. They're doing it right in Nigeria, and it was like 2 weeks worth of work. Was able to surpass, a whole bunch. I don't know exact time, but it was like a whole bunch of time that outside of it because of the efficient learning of the AI tool. So that plus the human, it's about augmentation. It's AI plus human intervention. There is no replacing that connection. It just changes. It just looks different with the AI if you embrace it.
And I'm so glad that you said that part there, right? Because most people think that AI is just going to replace humans. No, they're going to replace certain jobs, but they're not going to replace humans. There's still going to be a space and a place where we are all needed, but but being necessary is going to feel different.
Yeah, I think that work is going to change. So, and you know, it brings up a lot of questions that our government has to answer around, you know, is our purpose around work? Like, is that the human experience? Like, working wasn't always that way. It changed that way after certain revolutions. Yeah, but before that, like in all parts of the world, isn't that way. So when we get to the point where the AIs and the robots and whatnot can do that work, we'll have to see, well, what does that look like now for the human, the citizen. But that's a conversation that we got to have.
The workaholic, what happens to him
or her? Yeah, her, right, yeah,
right. That who define themselves, by work.
Yeah,
that's
a thing that we gonna have. That is something. There's a lot of people like that. So what happens when? There's many questions, like from a post-labor economic standpoint, many questions. But one thing before we get too deep in the woods, there at prison we talk about practical use case, right? So I want to get into some practical use case, talking about like, okay, Dr. Jeff, how do I actually use these tools today? Like we talk about theory, we talk about 2-5 years from now. What about right now? So first thing I'm going to say is, if you have not used like the large language models, the chat GPTs, use it, try it, okay? And what I would say is how to use it is there's a few lessons. So 3 core lessons that I teach them. The first one is mindset shift. So the way to think about it, team of experts, everyone graduated from college in every subject, okay? That's how to think about it. So that's it. That's the whole lesson. Team of experts, everyone graduated from college in every subject, okay? So if you start there, then you're already like 70% among big 70% among higher than others because they are looking at, like I said, a Google, like a search engine. So if you look at it like a assistant that's helpful with emails versus a team of experts that graduate from college and everything, you're gonna ask different questions to those types of people. So team of experts type questions. All right, so that's the first one. So then the next is, well, how do I prompt? What is a prompt? How do I prompt? All right. So prompting is when you are querying or asking a question to the AI. Now we're talking about large language models like ChatGPT. So, and just you have ChatGPT, you have Gemini, which is Google's, Claude, Anthropic, Meta. All those chatbots are large language models. So there's a 5-step prompting framework, and it doesn't have to be in this order, but it does help for you to remember. All right, ready? So step 1 is when you're prompting, and you should be talking to it, you want to name your experts. So I told you, you got a team of experts, and everyone graduated from college in every subject. You got to name them. So you got to say, depending on what your use case is, you're an expert in business, marketing, sales, more than one expert, not just one, more than one. So you're an expert in business, sales, marketing, taxes, whatever the thing is. All right. Step 2, introduce yourself. Right. So, the subject matter. So you want to introduce yourself depending on, because you bring something to the table, right? I said that you got a team of experts and they graduated from college in every subject. You are not one of those subjects. So you need to give that information. Step 3 is, what is the issue? So what are we trying to solve for? On this one, you want to give the what and the why, not the how. Okay, not the how, meaning don't tell your experts how to do their job. They don't like that. Okay, so don't tell your experts how to do their job. No experts like that. But tell them what the job is and tell them why you got to do the job. But don't tell them how. Okay, so that's step 3. Step 4. What's the goal? Big goal, right? This is where people often think too small. They say, give me hashtags, give me social media posts. And that's cool, but what you really want is, how do I make 7 figures in my business in the next 12 months or 24 months? Now, it'll tell you how to do it. And then you're like, oh, okay. Now, how do I get 60 more hours in my day, right, to get there? Because usually you need a team to get those numbers, right? And 95% of African American entrepreneurs are solopreneurs. So, but I digress. So that is step 4. What's the big goal? Step 5 is what's the command? Okay, so give me a strategy, give me a chart, give me a table, whatever thing you want. That's step 5. So that's the 5 steps on how to, craft an effective prompt. All that is in one prompt. Okay, so that's one prompt. You're like, what? Not just one sentence. I'm not supposed to just say who won the Lakers game last night. You can, but if you try to use it at the higher level, no, you want to get like between like 8 and 12 sentences in them at least. You want to give relevant information, and if you do that 5 steps, chances are you're going to give enough information to where you're going to get a really strong prompt. Now, that was the second core lesson. Last one, simple one, but very powerful. Core lesson 3: talk to the AI. Don't type. If you can avoid it, talk. Don't type, because when you talk, you bypass the friction of typing, and you give way more context than you typically would. You brainstorm. One of the top 3 use cases of using ChatGPT is just brainstorm, right? You just thinking about whether it be your business or whether it be your spouse or whether it be your child or whether it be, whatever, your idea, your creation. You go in and you tell it about what's going on, and then you can workshop it out. So talk to it, don't type. So that's how you use this stuff practically, just from a large language model, practical use case. If you follow that, then you'll be able to achieve a lot more than without.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But I don't want to miss something that you said in the midst of all of that. That most entrepreneurs are solopreneurs.
Yeah, African American ones. So yeah, 95% of all African American entrepreneurs are solopreneurs.
In implementing a lot of this stuff, it takes a team.
Yep.
I love that you said that, but I also love that because you're result oriented, that you came up with a solution for a lot of those people.
Yep.
So verse assist.
Yep. So Verse Assist, which is your versatile virtual assistant. So I also own a virtual assistant company called Verse Assist, and my virtual assistants all know how to use AI tools. So I train them on how to use AI tools. So just like I train the clients at prison, and once you get trained to use these tools and to run, many of my clients still have full-time jobs, or they have other responsibilities, or big ambitions, and multiple companies, to where they don't have a lot of support, but now they're using these AI tools. So I created this company to where once you learn it, now you actually have my army to help you scale and stand up. So yeah, because I needed it myself. Like when I was building Prism and using the tools, and I was like, man, I need website. I needed all help, and ChatGPT and these different tools will help you do it, but you got to fulfill orders. So I got to give the coaching sessions. I got to sell. I got to do speaking engagements. I got to do follow up. I got to do all that stuff. You need help. You need a team. So I train them on how to do it, and then we implement for other clients as well. And Versys has grown quite a bit. So Versys, your versatile virtual assistant.
And I love that because many of us don't know what we need, in building a business. Building a business, a lot of times, like you said, is a solopreneur job, so it can be lonely, right? Not knowing who to ask outside of asking ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT or whatever search model that you choose. Um, I'm more pro Gemini for a lot of stuff.
Gemini's good. That's one of the 4.
Yeah. But whatever one you choose, it doesn't matter. Having human contact that can also give you context
Mm-hmm.
is so necessary.
Yep. So the versus people, they are humans. There is not just AI agents in the back, actually human beings that know how to use AI to help you on your step of the way, to help you. So, like I said, it's my army to you.
So, what are some of the things that someone can go to Verse Assist to get assistance for?
Yeah. So the first thing, if you think about your business, so the first thing you're gonna have is your website. That's the first thing you need. Like, I need a website. Okay, cool. And once you get your website, that's 250,000 websites a day. So drop an ocean. So you need to get seen. So SEO. Now, SEO game is changing as AI search and stuff comes in there. But as of today, you still need some SEO. Your social media, right? So that's a big one too. So being visible. The number one reason why a new business isn't getting sales many times is because people don't know who you are. So you can have the best service, but if nobody know you, then how you gonna sell? So marketing from social media standpoint. There's admin work. There's follow up work. There's emails. There's um, all the digital things we can do. So if you're existing, it's like, all right, got a website, I'm good with that. Okay, well, how's your offer looking? Do you got a digital product? Like 10,000 people wanted to support you today, could they? Get your ebook out there. Everybody got content. Everybody got a book in them. We can help you with that. Help you with that offer. Help you get it out. Help you with the marketing of it. You know, help book calls. Help book speaking engagements. Any of those digital things, whatever you need in that regard, we got you.
Everything but outbound calls.
We don't do outbound calls. I was telling Fives that before. Like we used to do that, but we stopped doing outbound calls because people don't answer the phone. So we was offering a service, and we were doing what we were supposed to do, but it wasn't getting results. And I'm result oriented, so it was like, I'm okay. Like, we don't offer that because it don't get results. The stuff that we do get results. Email marketing, it gets results. The social media, if you're doing it the right way, is getting results. Websites, it gets results. And the thing about like something like a website, well, what's the point of the website? It's to capture emails, it's to convert. So is your website doing that? If not, then you need to change that. like it needs to be functional and getting you something. So that's what we do. And because we're housed under one house, we got that data. We're like, all right, so we know what works, and we evolve, and we're using AI. And as AI evolves, we get better because you have a plan. You say, okay, you give a plan for your offer. Let's say you don't. What we do? So the VA is going to run it through. You got some suggestions for your plan. You got to do it, but here's that. You want us to do it this way? This is what, and it's all laid out for you. Like, yeah, we can try that. We can try that way. so yeah, it's getting results for people, and that's the goal. The goal is versus is to my hope is for it to be like AWS. Amazon is the infrastructure. You think about Uber allow people, anybody, no matter where you are in the world, you got to drive. You can get around. That is transformational, man. I travel the world, and I know I can get a ride, Lyft, Uber. So now, when you get a business, you need to. I got an army. I got a team that can carry this stuff. What versus this is.
I love it. I love it. So soon you're gonna be going public. Catch you before the stock option up. You know what I mean? Because it's an amazing thing like that. And I love that you have a big picture dream, right? It's not just here, but you say I want to be as big as AWS.
Mm-hmm.
Because AWS didn't exist at one time either.
That's right.
Right.
They had to just get started.
They started out selling books, right? Like you were selling pharmaceuticals.
That's right.
Like, who's to say you can't be that big, right?
That's right.
If we dream big, work hard, actually work smart. Dream big and work smart,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's no reason why it can't happen, So I love that you put that big picture up there for someone else also to dream big, right? Because
yes, please.
you know,
it don't happen by accident. None of this, no big things happen. You don't fall into that. It's extremely difficult, right? But worth it, especially if worth a bigger dream. And that with the Uber and the AWS piece with this versus is it's because our people 95% solopreneurs. So now we'll have an army to rise. So we have, like, how we look at all the demographics for African Americans, right? And it stems from economic hardship. But through entrepreneurship, like, if we can rise guard, then we actually have a shot of changing the trajectory of our people. So I believe very in entrepreneurship and through our community.
Think about the times of like the Black Wall Street, times of real spaces and places like Central Park. Like, people don't realize that before the city took over Central Park, that was one of the more prominent Black communities in New York City. You know, you had Black doctors, Black lawyers, all lived in that area. It was a self-sufficient space, right? Being able to provide in a community for a community so that the dollar doesn't so quickly leave a community. It's so important. For our community, the dollar only cycles once, where in most 3 times. So what that would mean is, even if we got reparations, we'd be broke tomorrow.
Yep. But what are we gonna do with it? Give it to them. Give it back. Is what we would do. We would give it back. So that's what the solopreneur and the side of the entrepreneurship is. The bankers and in the education system. But if we can control our money, if we can, like, because we have political power, we have rights, but we don't have money. We don't. And once we have that, it's a different situation. It's no more asking for things. It's now a real partnership because we're all on equal ground economically. And I think that changes the narrative. And we have an opportunity now with AI to close that gap. But we have to change our and it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be possible. It is possible.
And I love that you said everything that you said, especially about being able to change our mindset. One of the things that is the most is to be able to change your mindset. If you look at life, there's a great quote. Wayne Dyer says it the most, but he wasn't the originator. But he says it the most. If you change the way you look at things, the way you look at things change. Right? So if we can change the way we look at as first as an individual, second as a family, third as a community, the way AI is looked upon changes. We can become more efficient, become more productive, and really decrease that wealth gap. Right? Yep. But there's a key piece that you said that I don't want anyone to miss: education. And I think because a lot of us went to school and didn't learn, we think that's education. Right?
Yeah.
I was a great remember and regurgitator, so they thought I was educated, right? Because I can remember it quick and spit it back at you. That wasn't education.
Right.
That was remembering and regurgitating.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? You know, there are a lot of people who can remember, regurgitate, but never learn that.
Yep. It'll help with like actual ways to learn, right? And as opposed to just ways to get a good grade, but actually retaining and being curious and critical and critically thinking. And I think if using the right way, AI can do that. Because on the flip side, people can use AI to offload their cognitive ability and decrease it because you're like, oh, just the answer. Here's just the answer. Is the answer. So that's why, again, education or how to use it. If you just ban ChatGPT in school, well, so you just said don't use it. And when does that ever work? Never, right? So, like we have a drug problem in this country. So we say don't use drugs. So now we have all these hundreds of thousands of people. Let's teach on this standpoint from an AI, like how to use this in the right way, how to educate, so that the child has an alternative. They don't know no better, but if you say don't use it, all the friends are using it, and all the friends, that's culture. That's what's going to happen. So we should know that, but it takes time, so don't be too hard on any one person, because collectively, like I said, as a whole, not just our government, but other governments too. And I will say our government is taking an AI first, a forward approach. President Trump was just in signing executive orders in Pittsburgh for America into an AI factory, essentially, over the next few years. So that is, so important. Yeah, it's an important one because it's a real AI arms race against China. However, there are some, criticisms around the regulations around AI. So it's up in there, as with most things. But I will say, between that, I would rather be in a place that is thinking about it and putting it higher.
I'd rather be in the know than not in the know. Yep. Because being in the know, I can now make a decision.
Yes.
One of the things that I've learned very early, ignorance is not bliss. It is not bliss.
No.
Right? It is probably one of the most hellish places to live in, right? If you don't,
unblissful
pay attention. And what's so important now, right, is that with the advent of AI, even more important than ever, right? Because we thought that these kids were smart when they were playing with smartphones.
Mm-hmm.
These kids are now going to be born in AI. Like, I was talking to my daughter about this, and I'm like, by the time my granddaughter enters school, AI is going to be the norm.
Yeah, man, I don't even know what, I really can't think past 5 years. Like, think things is going to be different. Yeah, so much will be changed. Like, so yeah, I'm not even sure how that'll go.
And I say being practical now is so important, because what's practical today won't be practical from now. But what's going to be important is to have steps, processes, ways to unlearn.
Yeah.
Les Brown did the best. He said, a wise man knows how to learn, unlearn, and relearn again.
I think that actually will be the most important skill in the next years. The ability to unlearn and relearn. There's so much we have to unlearn, because there was so much that was lied to us, and we just for lots of different different angles, whether it be media, whether it be lots of different things. And you like, and in this new age where is truth is hard. It's hard to do truth. It's easy to lie. And the internet is full of lies. And it's the algorithm tailors and curates your feed to where now we don't even have a collective truth because we don't even see the same stuff. Where everything, what's true and what's not, it's so hard to find that out. Like I said, I do think that is going to be one of the more like immediate dangers of our society is the vastness of lies. So the unlearning, just getting back to it, the unlearning, being curious, even with so like hallucinations, just going out there, hallucination, the AI gets it wrong, the AI makes something up. There are different strategies that you use to decrease the hallucination. Hallucination is not a bug; it's a feature, right? So that's how AI can be creative because it can make things up. So what you want to do when you don't want that is you say things like in your prompt, don't lie, make this up. It has to be grounded in fact. Go online, make sure you get this information. Something that will of hallucination, like composing it, like be like say, are you sure about? Not give me a confidence score of 10. That type of scrutiny with all of your information that you get. That's how you got to be with it going forward. And the other AI ain't gonna lie, you're not gonna have two AIs that say a hallucination. That's not gonna happen.
And I love that you say that because it's funny. I do that all the time,
Yeah.
but I'm not too sure. I'm like, let me throw that back in Gemini.
Let me throw that
like,
in. So let me just
like,
see.
That's
yeah.
what I say. Gemini makes me feel confident that ChatGPT playing with. You know what I mean? Because Gemini seems to be more because it's Google. It seems to be more right fact based immediately.
Yeah, I will say that ChatGPT is more like going go with what you say, like sicko fancy kind of like oh yeah, Paz, you right. That's it. That's the best I. Yeah, Gemini is going to be more neutral.
Yeah, Gemini. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Nick, you said, and I told you this hour goes by quickly, so I don't want to let this hour go by. Don't know how to find you,
okay, yeah,
how to work with you. Absolutely. So I want you to tell them both how to work with you at Prism.
Yep.
Reverse assist.
Yes. So for Prism, you can go to the website. So www.prism, PRISAI consultants with an S, there's more than one of us, .com. So that's one place. School.com. So I have a community on School. School is SKOOL. So I have a free community on school.com where you can learn. We have a classroom. There's about 400 people in there now. So that's another place. I'm on social media, so I'm on LinkedIn mostly. Dr. Jeff Bullock, PharmD. And for Versus, so that's Prism. And then for Versasist, VERSAS. There's an S on the end of that one. So Verse Assist. Like we assist with a TS, S on the end.com. So both Prism AI Consultants and Versus have an S on the end. So you go to those websites and you can book services, you can book a discovery call, and if you're serious about investing in your education, let's do this so that you can reach your goals with through AI.
And that's important. I didn't want, like I said.
Thank you.
Oh, definitely. It's so important that people know where to find these experts after getting such great information, right? Like it would suck for someone to go, hey, Dr. Jeff gave us. I didn't make sure I knew how to find it. Like, and I love that your journey into AI wasn't the perfect way in.
Mhm.
Like, you didn't come in, you didn't say, well, I'm
Right,
IT
exactly. I'm
prep.
like, AI,
Like, you know,
just AI.
and and it's so amazing because it really fits. Like, you don't have perfect, right? You just have to be passionate. You found a passion. I'm going to belt to pass his brown belt. You know what I mean? Because I was saying, well, Big Happy Consultants, we do AI consultants. But if you want to master, I will always call Prism now. Like, I'm not going to pretend like I am the sensei here, senpai, you know, you know, better student, right? But we've had some great conversations because I'm also on my game. So
Yeah, absolutely.
there's been times I'm like, hey,
Absolutely. I was
Dr.
like,
Jeff,
yeah.
have you checked this
Yep.
yet?
I'm like, thank you.
You.
I'm forever student. I am
Yes.
forever student. There's so much. We live in a world of abundance, right?
Yes.
So collaboration is key, and every day there's so much new things. And like this generation, ideogram just came out with character, with many things that you can do really efficiently now. Things that used to, thousands of thousands, you can do $20 a month, and really makes, like I said, get to your goals.
And although we talked a lot to a community that looks like us, this information is open to everyone. We just wanted to make sure, especially in today's time, that we don't allow ourselves to be left behind again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There are many other podcasts. There are many other web shows that are speaking to many different audiences, and we speak to everyone at different times. But being able to remember, wake up in the morning, I'm still gonna be black. When I go to sleep at night, I'm still gonna be black. In certain places, I might be a nigga. And that's okay. But being able to make sure that you see experts that look like him, right? Um, One of the, especially in our community, that we lacked a long time was having valid superheroes,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's why the drug dealers became our superheroes,
Pimps, drug dealers,
right?
like that.
Right? They became our superheroes because that was what was made vainglorious in our areas, right? So it's important when you see someone like yourself, that I tip my hat because not too many times I'm going to say somebody does something better than I do. I mean, a song called "I Am the Best," right? Right. So, but when you see someone and is stepping into a space where they can be a conduit to more greatness, make sure that tell the world how great they are.
Well, thank you.
So yeah, it was my pleasure. So again, for this hour passes, how they can find you.
Prism AI Consultants, www.prismaiconsultants.com, school.com, AI Family, so ISM, and Dr. Jeff Bach. Also, YouTube channel, Dr. Jeff. So hit up the YouTube channel.
Oh, I didn't know he had a YouTube.
Yep, hit up the YouTube channel, Dr. Jeff. And then Versus VERSASSIP is a company name, but www.versassip ASSISTS.com. Versus assist.
So you got all the ways how to reach Dr. Jeff. So Dr. Jeff, before we sign off, I'm going to ask you to do with me what we've done with all of our guests. So I'm going to ask you to repeat my personal manifesto behind. I'm going to say it all the way through. Don't worry about it, and then we'll do it in call of response.
Okay, cool.
So my personal manifesto goes like this. I love me. I'm worthy. Some people may not like me, but I don't care, because the people that matter will be glad that I'm here. But I love me.
I love me. I'm worthy.
Some people may not like me.
Some people may not like me,
but I don't care.
I don't care.
But the people that matter,
Because the people that matter
will be glad that I'm the Jeff that you spent this hour. Glad that you told us about verse assist. Right, and also about Prism. I'm glad that you told us about the power of AI. I'm glad that you woke up our community so that we don't spend another day falling behind. I'm glad that you stepped into your great. I'm glad that you left the pharmaceutical world, just so that we can have another great mind, right, bringing in greater results.
Thank you.
So I'm going to leave you with the last word.
Thanks.
How can you leave it any greater than that? Right? Another episode of You Be Perfect. You just have to get started. And because we had technical difficulties last week, we're going to bring back Victoria Fields because she had something that really Bullock. You go to Versus System and log on to his YouTube channel. I'm going to be subscribing tonight because I know this